Okay. Are we good to go? Okay, mic's on. I don't know, let me check my... Okay, so I have my chat up here. Okay, so we're good. I can hear you. Good. I have my phone up for it. But now I'm gonna try and, I'm just setting things up so I can also see the chat. I think I might... Oh, my computer's on. That's nice. I'm gonna need that on. So that's it up there. I think I might plug in my headphones so you can hear the audio. What game are you playing? It's called Seduce Me. It's an interesting game, sweetie. It's an interesting game. Start charging. Do. Why is it not charging? Ah! Why is it not charging? Yay! Okay, so that's up. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear that, Gavin. Okay, I think we're good to go. So yeah, this is a game called Seduce Me. Yeah. It's gonna be a late night stream. Go for like an hour or so. Just see what's doing this. See what's going on. Turn up a bit more. Still good, or I can turn up a bit more for the media. There we go. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. Okay, so we're actually gonna do a new game. So we can start fresh and everything. So, yeah. This is a fictional interactive narrative. Any character resemblances to real-life people are purely coincidental. Also, the following game is made for PG-16 audience. Please note that sexual violent themes are explored in this game. Trigger warnings. Abuse, implied rape, and suicide. You have been warned. This is a very interesting game, Gavin. Yeah. Again, this is a very interesting game. Please enjoy. Turn it down a notch just for this part because I don't know how it will be. Let me know how.
Why, hello. My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be honored enough to know your name?
What should we do, Gavin? I'm just gonna stick with it, the default name of Mika-chan. Which name? Mika?
A lovely name. For a lovely person like you. Wonderful.
Are the voices good or no? Do I need to turn it down? Do I need to turn the voices down? It's okay, okay. We're good.
Eric, do your job. Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it since you'll be in it.
Okay, who just did that voice, his name is Christopher Escalante, and he's just, yes. That's the route we will be going for today. Eric's route.
Eric.
Bradley. I mean James.
Fine, fine. Farewell, my sweet.
As I said, this game is... hold on. Yeah, this game is... this game is something. Somewhere. Yep. It's neat, yeah.
Come on. Is that all you got?
Alejandro, yes. Sam.
Wanna try me, asshole?
Oh yeah, also adultery and foul language will be also present in this game. So yeah, I forgot to tell you that. That one just scared me. That one just literally made me jump. Yeah. Nah.
Crap. Missed.
Of course you did, Malix.
Let's retreat for now. No kidding. Let's get out of here. That's right. You better run, you stupid punks. Stay out of our territory.
Call it fate or call it coincidence. That one moment of violence started a chain of events I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory. It is used
No. Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it is April, so it's not exactly that surprising. Personally, I love the sound of it, the way the raindrops fell, like the soft tapping of fingers. It was so soothing, even looking at the droplets hitting the glass of the window was strangely calming. Still doing good. The lecture in class was lectures, here we go, in class were pretty boring. Miss Phillips's voice was passionate, but I just wasn't interested in what she was saying. And since it was the period right before lunch, all I could think about was doing other things. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read the textbook and did my assignments PM time. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I would have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester would mean the end of high school courses forever. Thank God for that. I didn't hate high school. It was just mundane how the days drifted on and on as if there were no end to it. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them. That was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school. Start of the second semester brought a note of finality to it. I had already applied to a few universities this semester prior, and I was expecting replies sometime in the next few months. I had to go, what What's been going on? Can I be a moderator? How do I do that? Hold on, I'll try to figure that out once I do, but you haven't really missed much, Gavin. Literally just talking about we're gonna be graduating, it's our senior year and stuff. It seemed like the start of something that would change. I stared at the faint outline of raindrops in the distance. For now, I was stuck in this class.
Miss Anderson.
Tap on my account. I did, again, I'll figure that out next stream. Things will be improving on my channel. Just, damn, Kylo. I can just hear Kylo just barking in the background. But there's our teacher. Miss Phillips's raised voice interrupted my train of thought. When I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me just because she noticed I was spacing out. Yes, ma'am?
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
Oh, I read that in the textbook last night. It should be the Black-Scholes model formula.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Anderson, it followed me wherever I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather by my surname. No doubt, since the surname was the trademark of the internationally famous and philanthropic Anderson Family Toys, the founder is my grandfather. Kyla's getting into trouble. Suzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch on the shoulder.
Kick ass, girl.
Suzu's me. But I could just be about it. Well, he's a puppy, and so he'll bark for no reason. No, he would just rather bark to get someone to play with him. From beside me, I hear Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Suzu's choice of words.
She means good job. Miss Capini. Oi! Care to tell me who the creators of this formula were? Some guys named Black and Scholes?
Black isn't a name.
Fisher Black and Myron Scholes. Very good, Miss Patterson. Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched in her chair as Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned into the Three Musketeers. Shit. Maybe I'm back. Okay. It was a sheer stroke of luck that we all managed to be in the same class, so we had to at least take the opportunity and stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were most comfortable around each other than around any other classmates. It just made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it open onto the 3 desks. We were pretty much finished with fulfilling most of the guidelines for the project, though we did still have to add a few finishing touches here and there. What is it? I don't know. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and expected our work to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look for any issues. She lightly tapped a pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Suzu straightened up to look at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened and she spoke up.
How about a company name? Huh? Did we really skip over that? Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our project. At least we caught it this time. What do we name it? Not sure. What do you think?
It always came down to me, whenever there was something to be named or titled. I was the master in any decision, even when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporation. That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company?
The Dragon Company? Depends. Now, with it, I played this a lot, but with it, I wanted you to see it. 'Cause, yeah.
What do dragons have to do with our project? What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot.
Depends on what it is, Suzu.
But our company sells bubblegum.
I can understand with the Dragon Company. 'Cause with it, well, if we sell other things, it depends. But if we're just selling bubblegum, it wouldn't have a good name to it. Has some than neat stuff in it. It really does.
Who said we can't produce spicy bubblegum?
Who would buy spicy bubblegum, Suzu? Only you. I do not like spicy shit.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectantly, even though I wasn't quite sure myself. I didn't really want to choose sides, but if it were up to me, I would say, okay, this is where the chat gets in. This is where you come in. Would you like the Dragon Company or Trinity Corporations to be the name? Or would you rather just have me choose Gavin? I think, well, we have to keep going with this because we have like a limited time. So, I think Trinity Corporations.
Bah, fine. Be lame. Alright, now that we've decided on a name...
Hello,
now
Alyssa. Hello, Alyssa Gudino. Welcome to the stream. We are playing some Seduce Me. I'll tell all the information at the end, but hope you enjoy. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. What happened was Kylo was, let's see. He was carrying around a wing or something. As we entered our name game, a giggle scrambled my thoughts. I hate that girl. Huh? Who was that?
Ignore it. It's just Lisette.
Lisette? I thought it was Lisette. I looked over my shoulder to see Lisette laughing with her circle of friends, mostly compromised of popular people. As a result, everyone in the school knew them. In the center of all of it was Lisette White. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but ready to casually chat about her day. She was enduring balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when she first talked to someone. It was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or anything, but she was the student that everyone else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and all above. and all above had her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school. As a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub a lot of people the wrong way. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, but had ultimately resulted in a rivalry that continued today. Of course, my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion. She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work. Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
Yeah, right, Naomi.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you. What? Never mind.
Ah! I keep skipping over dialogue.
It's about time. Let's bail.
Unsurprisingly, Susan was the first out of class, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strode out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever...
I'll be right back. What? Finally back again. I had to get the dogs water. See, who's still in the stream? Me and you both, Naomi. She gave me a smile as if relieved by the fact that I felt the same way as she did.
See? Why can't she just be normal like the two of us?
That's good, Gavin. It's Suzu, Naomi. Think about it.
Very true. Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what? We heard you the first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings. Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
Ha ha ha. I do have to admit I was spacing out. And just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically a valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts. So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson. Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
Despite this, they both bursted out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think that two people so opposite would never associate with each other. However, even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe they were just perfect complements or personality just didn't dictate the possibility of the friendship. After all, we three have been best friends since preschool.
Alright, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum. Who would even buy that? I wonder.
Yeah, who would buy flippin' spicy bubblegum?
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
Ha ha. Ha ha ha. You do like spicy food after all. That was bad. We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with the aromas of different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
That is really, really spicy, Suzu. I could not hold that.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice. You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu. I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing. You're crazy. Hell yeah, I'm crazy. I think I'm getting a migraine.
You and me both, Naomi. I think I'll go with... I'll just have some mac and cheese and soda. That sounds good. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it back so that she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right then. Is there anything we want to talk about? Bored already? I know. Let's talk about... Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again. Aw, why not? What's so interesting about talking about guys? Not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon. We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend? Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde. Hey! No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Funny you say that, Suzu.
Or girlfriend? She could be a lesbian if she wants.
That's true, too.
True.
That's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend. Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
Well, it really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more of there was no one I was interested in having a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I am a very open person, but there were not many interesting guys in the school. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafeteria started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Oh my. Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you. Suzu. Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Something did happen. Now from here, there will be sad parts and maybe something that is, spoilers for my recent video I did, where we had an argument with the father. And it was certainly no laughing matter. No, it isn't. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder. The skies had turned dark, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eloges that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I finally was able to raise my head. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were huddled around a simple, small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it were not for the rain, everything would be a heavy silence. I looked beside me, where my father was standing holding a large black umbrella for our small family of 3. Ah, stupid. After all, etched into the smooth gray tombstone before was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. Slowly, people began to leave, until it was just my father, mother, and myself at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit under the uniform black umbrella of the funeral attendees walked towards us, introducing himself as grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read out loud.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under the strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
So we just got a $1 billion estate mansion along with everything inside of it, and the parents get nothing. Yeah, that's one of the neat stuff. What? I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18? That was impossible, and yet it was written by my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
Why don't you shut up, my father? Yeah, Mr. Anderson, our father, he's a dick.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company? No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position. Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. What a stubborn old man.
You seem jealous. Mr. Anderson, father, you seem jealous. Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
Honey, what do you think?
I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think that I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own?
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
Mr. Anderson is... When you say Mr. Anderson, I think of the Matrix. You're not the only one, Gavin. You're not the only one, sweetie. But with it, Mr. Anderson is like really, really jealous because he just called us. Because it says, I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust. Meaning us. Mika. So, yeah.
David.
Or we should just call him David. Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began to walk to the car. Can't speak. Disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
Okay, you think his father's passing really affected him? No, it did not. No, it did not. I do that with everyone. It's just a thing I do, Gavin. It's just a thing I do. You can go on ahead to the car, Mom. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty, save for the sullen-looking grave that laid in front of me. I'm sure if Grandpa were in charge of arranging all this, it would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they pass away? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any warmth. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. Sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out was a choked sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now I'm the farthest from it. I just want to go back to before. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was swept into a giant bear hug, and we both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me, unlike my father. My grandfather was loving and playful, even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said he wasn't feeling too good again. It was always like that, Hud. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Yeah. So what are we going to do today, Grandpa? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe could we go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Yes. Ooh, is that a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them. But I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Of course. He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautiful. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on his chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be like a little nightlight before you go to sleep. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few minutes of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
You getting sleepy? No, I usually just yawn at late at nights. I still got some stuff to do, so yeah. Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
I know,
You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
Sorry, I had an itch. That makes sense. Daddy didn't think of it in the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
In controlling our life? You think about that? I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
Intensely stared. I just intensely stare. What were you trying to say? No, I had an itch and stuff. But this background music is like so soft and quiet. He bent down to look at me eye level with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
Now the thing is, the reason why I may be yawning or may have sniffles is because today's the day that something really bad happened in the family. In 2012, the day after Christmas, my grandma passed away and stuff. So today's that day, and I've been doing a bunch of things, doing streaming, just to keep my mind off of it. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be streaming. So, yeah. I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though. Sorry to hear that. Thanks. It's alright. I accept your condolences.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past.
but it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as all this were nothing.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me, we'll stand together to get through it.
The grandfather's more like a fatherly figure than the real father, and I love that. How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first, and then pointed at my chest.
So stay strong, promise?
For a moment, he almost looked sad, pleading. But as quickly as it come, the expression disappeared from his face, and he was all smiles once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then, enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Homemade dessert? I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You will be the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why do you think I would be ready to take it, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave. My vision blurred, and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents didn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Thank you, Mom. I love lasagna. Okay, FYI, lasagna is like one of my favorite foods, because it's pasta. And my favorite food's pasta. So, yeah. Thanks, Mom. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if it was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Yay, my drink. Hold on. Not sponsored by Dr. Pepper anyway. Gathering my courage, I decided then that it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the States so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes?
As you can tell, he's already controlling our lives.
Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
Hold on, just checking out the audio. Okay, we're good. I can't see your face, so I don't know what you're drinking. The reason why I with it, because with it, camera's still acting up, but next stream there will be a face cam. But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
after you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if...
Stop mumbling.
But what if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped at me. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that grandfather passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seemed fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
It's like nothing ever happened at all. Like you just ignored the fact that he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms and erupted in angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
That can tell the big jealousy right then and there. 'Cause he says, like some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick. Or actually that whole dialogue right there. He is jealous as fuck. Is that it? Are you happy seeing grandfather dead? While everyone was grieving, you're holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's faces? Did you feel just a bit happier seeing him lying in the graveyard? I am so bad. A flash of rage crossed his face as he whipped the back of his hand across my cheek. He just slapped us. Motherfucker. Our own father just slapped us.
You don't know anything. Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut.
Shut it, David.
You did not know my father. You did not know what he was capable of.
Is everything all right? What happened?
That thing right there, for what she just said, it could have been more to her. Hello, MD Corsar. Welcome to the stream. Again, for Miss Anderson, her voice could have been more concerned than, is everything alright? What happened? There's like, it needs to be more emotional, in my opinion. Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go to my room.
Honey, wait.
I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in short pants, and for a while, I just leaned against my door in my bedroom, eventually sliding down to sit against it. How did things become like this? My cheeks still throbbed, and I tentatively stood up and looked at the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. Huh, what am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry twice on the same day. I had to be stronger than that.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
Just like mine. I'm fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though, and I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs later to eat.
You're not telling me the whole story.
I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
I wanted to tell her. A part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done. At the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the events remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. Hold on. That's not it. Where is it? Where is it? It's right here. Let me know if the audio screws up, but I have to plug in my tablet. Because with it, it's like at 25%. So let me know if the audio screws up. Okay. I really didn't know. Didn't I? I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something, anything, to get my mind off of what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. I was going to move in my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I would be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags, pulling them out onto the floor of my room. Then I began emptying my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring, other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it was going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it into a home. Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began to ring and vibrate in my pockets. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while settling myself onto the bed. Who could be possibly calling? I'm sorry if that was a thing. I just had to bring it back because that's just a thing, and that's...
Hey, Anderson, you there?
Suzu!
Is everything alright? We were worried about you, so we decided to call.
Naomi! They both called. Can you subscribe to me? I will later. Because I will look back in the comments, and then I will subscribe to you. But, Daily Kid Dream, welcome to the stream.
Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began to tell them about the funeral that afternoon. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood. So, can we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu?
Keep double tapping. Hahaha, yeah.
Triple Threat Trio? That sounds like the name of a gang. Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
It isn't how that works, Suzu.
What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind to the cool kids like Anderson and me. Hey! I'm a cool kid. If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon, I had forgotten about the events that day and was engaged in a conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some probably called Thurlock. We all agreed that the actor playing the tutelar character certainly had a very distinctive look about him, with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Ah, yeah, He has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are pretty, though I do have to say I prefer Jetson. And as a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's already 1 a.m.? Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. You mean see you guys at school today? 'Cause technically it's tomorrow? I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just talking to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beats hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. A nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It had been a really long day. I knew that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that happened today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. Hold on, I gotta look something up in my notebook, because I wrote down the steps for how to do Eric's route. Found it. Bingo. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out to the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thoughts of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. I shook my head to try to clear the sleepiness out of me. To no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up? Wait, school. As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubted anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed and took my backpack and caught the bus to go to school. Okay, so here, I'm just going to quickly just, go past it so I can get to the part with the boys so we can actually get the route started. So, I'm going to turn off my headphones, so yeah. Okay, so now we are to the part with the dad with the car. No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
Yeah, right, and you still lay a finger on us? How dare you, father? Yet, he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now, he couldn't say it to me. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he began to drive and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was pretty far from the school and from where our house was. He had always lived alone, and he insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age, living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Though he and my father would probably probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time. Maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited, though, it looked he was just he usually was, happy and healthy. But things changed in the back of my mind. I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Still here, Gavin? Yes, I can manage on my own. The silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't hold the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. Okay, that's good. Let's just leave it alone for now, because we do not need to because it'll only be reopening the wound. So let's leave it alone. There was no use talking to him about it. It would be reopening a wound, or reapplying a bruise. I sighed. He gave me a side glance out of curiosity, but didn't pursue it further. Typical. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? It had been to my grandfather's house often, but it was one thing visiting, and it was another thing actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to be a homeowner? I knew naturally the bills would be paid by my parents, who inherited grandfather's stocks to the corporations. But I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would be symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you want to tell me at this moment? And, of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist. I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
All right, tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you, Dad. And just watch him not reply. Told ya. No. Stupid dialogue. I paused for a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of goodbye, but he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. The bags I packed last night were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He drove off, leaving me alone in the front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. There it is. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this. It's hard to believe. The house was framed by tall grates. I hesitantly pushed them aside to take in this entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating when its size. Though if I came closer, it was clear that there was no more. There was more of it than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look. But in contrast, the tall doors to the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I went back down at this moment. I took out the key to the front doors and locked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. I'm sorry, I'm just getting really excited because with it, this is where we meet the boys. I'm just like, yes! First things first, Alejandro. Lying on the floor was a group of men. They were all unconscious. There was no explanation as to why they were here in the first place. I dropped my bags as I let the door close on its own behind me. Huh? Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds. The blood was staining the floor, and the scent was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but I was still in shock and a bit angry at the sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from the caring and concern to confusion and demanding answers. Who are you people? They're unconscious. Why are we talking to them? No response. I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake. It seemed surreal to have random strangers in the house. I just moved but I wanted answers quickly. That was until... Eve, get away from me! Sam! Are these on? Hold on. I did not have these on this whole time. Hold on.
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
There we go. I couldn't believe it. Within a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went from lying on the floor to being right in front of my face. What was even more odd was the fact that I felt serene and calm about it. Slowly desire burned in my chest, telling me to accept his kiss even when my mind vehemently refused. What the heck is going on? You'll just see! Huh? Go ahead.
Good.
It's like he's drinking soup! Whose room is this? This is Eric's. Eric Husbando. What? I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm back. I had to get my shot up. As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. I didn't know why, but that kiss was draining me of my energy, and yet it was so good and made my heart sing. It was strange and tingling feeling that danced over every nerve of my body. I could feel streams of intangible energy run through my veins and into my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time, it felt amazing.
Sam, stop it.
You just ruined the moment. Glad to see some people communicating in the chat. That's very nice. The person kissed me. Sam was his name? Glanced behind him.
I said stop. Now. Fine.
Finally, he pulled back, and I was left standing there in a daze. What? Huh? I couldn't tell what was going on. My mind was completely enwrapped by the kiss that melted into the depths of my forgotten memories.
Please forgive my brother. He's a bit reckless.
Yes, James. Cello is getting into trouble. Who the hell is Cello? Literally the same.
At least I feel a hell of a lot better than you right now.
True.
Because you used your abilities on her.
Now you'll start getting confused, Gavin. And I know you will. Kylo. Yep. Kylo's getting in trouble.
Sam, you're such a reckless brute. Taking advantage of a beautiful young woman like her.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, the one with the pink and red, that is my boy Eric. I'm already confused. Don't worry, you'll figure it out soon.
Shut that pretty boy mouth of yours before I rip it off your pretty boy face.
You all have pretty boy faces, Sam. You know that.
Jeez, you guys. Can we not fight right now? Not all of us.
Matthew, you innocent child! Matthew, you innocent boy! You small bean, you cinnamon roll! Matthew, you're just a pure innocent cinnamon roll. Ow. Sorry.
I guess you are right, Matthew. I agree.
Dang it! However, as the men got up and started to chat freely, my thoughts began to reassemble, and I remembered my confusion and anger once more. Only now it was multiplied tenfold. What?
Huh? Did you say something beautiful?
And I exploded. What's going on? Why the hell are you in my house? Why are you all bleeding? You kissed me. Who are you? I couldn't help exploding, but after being taken advantage of and being left in a mush state, my words escaped without filter. I definitely scared the men around me, even the guy who kissed me. Wait a second, the guy who kissed me.
Ouch! What's your problem?
We just hit him. You should go after Matthew. Ooh! Do I still have that thing for that? Should I try? Yeah, I'll probably go for Matthew, because Matthew is just an innocent boy. But, yeah, we just hit Sam. What is your problem? You can't just go around forcing people to kiss you like that. Are you some kind of pervert?
Pervert? It was only a kiss.
It might mean nothing to you, but it meant a lot to me.
What? Was it your first kiss?
Yeah.
Ow! Hey, what was that for?
We just hit him a second time. I know first kisses aren't exactly amazing and full of sparkles like out of a fairy tale, but I at least expected it to be more than just something forced on me.
So it was your first kiss. Stop making such a big deal out of it.
Are you asking to get punched again?
Well, what do you want me to do? It's It's not like I can somehow take it back.
I'm just gonna hit him again, because with it, yeah.
How? You're just being violent now.
I like being violent. You deserved it. Anyway, if you try to pull any funny business in the future, just a fair warning, I know Taekwondo. Funny thing is, I actually am in Taekwondo. I am a second degree black belt. Just a little funny thing. I think I've bickered enough. Time to get back to the main issue. So, what exactly are all of you doing in my house?
Miss, please forgive us in our intrusion. We didn't know this abode belonged to anyone, nor did we have the time to take that into consideration.
What? What do you mean? You can't just barge into people's homes.
We wouldn't have had to if we weren't as wounded as we are currently. We just escaped from a deadly fight that could have ended our lives. Luckily for us, your home was near, the windows were unlocked, so we quickly came inside.
The last I remembered, there were laws preventing strangers from stepping on private property. Although, considering the severity of their wounds, it had to be serious. I guess that explains the wounds, but not why he kissed me. He had absolutely no right to do that.
Well, lovely flustered lady, it's hard to explain, truly. We're not exactly normal.
Michaela the Weirder says, Sam is my bae. Oh, so you like Alejandro. I know, I'm more for Ethan or Christopher. Which is Eric and Sam. Not Sam, Matthew. I don't know, all of them, to me, are just cinnamon rolls. Not normal? What are you guys, demons or something? I was joking, but the boys seem to take my question differently. What do you want, Damien?
Well, yeah, actually, something like that.
Matthew! You innocent boy! Yes, I do. Ooh. Eh?
We're incubi, miss. Demons who consume and use sexual energy of humans to survive.
Yeah, so Laser Blazer, if you did not know that, yeah, that's the reason why there's mostly confusion in this game. For you. Incubi? Demons that haunt humans and make them sex-crazed monsters? The mythical beings that could look like anyone just to get into your pants. The imaginary monsters you only saw in movies or on TV.
Hello? Did you hear him?
We're telling the truth.
Do you think she's still processing it?
Yes, and she'll understand right about...
Right. That was funny while it lasted, but it's time to cut the joke short. Incubuses don't exist. There was no way that they actually existed. That would be practically impossible.
Ahem. Incubi is the correct plural form. And yes, we do exist.
I feel like I just offended. Even though Matthew has been... He is a demon. Actually, they're not demons. They're incubi. They're incubuses. So, I'm correcting you, Laser Blazer. Yeah. But I have a feeling that Mika just offended them. Because they said, incubi is a correct plural form. Meaning, like... Even though Matthew is being, he is a demon. Yeah. Prove it! As soon as the words left my mouth, I instantly regretted them.
Very well. Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna fangirl.
Very well.
He is adorable incubus. Michaela, you may want to look away for this.
My sweet, you're so tempting with such non-belief. Let me ease your mind with a tender kiss. I promise you'll enjoy every minute of it. And maybe you'll even want more.
Eric, yes, my boy. Yes, Eric, my boy. What? Once again, I was lost in a pool of calm and serenity, staring into Eric's eyes. I felt waves of heat course through my chest and onto my face, painting my cheeks red in their wake. I couldn't help but nod and agree to his offer. Yeah, okay. Again, to me, it's like they are drinking soup. I have a feeling this is going to get demonetized on YouTube. With another kiss, my heart began to burn once again in my chest. My mind was sent spinning in heated, passion-filled pleasure. Once again, I could feel my body drain of energy as he kissed me.
All right, that's enough.
Aw, very well. I feel so much better.
As he put away, I was left in a mental mush pool. I felt weak in the knees, despite my will demanding me to stand straight in front of the boys before me. The world around me began to spin as I tried to speak. I think I'm going to...
Where are our manners? I'm James, and these are my brothers.
Sam, Eric, Matthew,
and Damien.
Miss, are you okay?
How could you not see me about to pass out, Matthew, you innocent child?
Shit. She fainted.
Yep, I did. I couldn't believe it. Incubi, real. It all spun around my head until I only saw black. Floating in the darkness, my mind kept replaying the scene over and over again, reminding my body of the touch of lips against mine. However, I began to feel smooth silk around me, and my eyelids unwillingly opened. Where? I awoke to find myself in an unfamiliar place. Where was Mom? Dad? I was pretty sure this wasn't my room. Oh wait, I lived at Grandfather's house now. Of course it wouldn't be unfamiliar. I rubbed my eyes and surveyed my surroundings. I was still in the clothes I arrived in the house in, but I was laying in a silk-covered bed. Remember coming in that afternoon, so how was it nighttime already? Surprisingly, a yawn. I stretched my arms. Maybe I should order some food for delivery. I was about to sit up when suddenly I realized I wasn't alone.
You're awake.
Damien! Tsundere? When I have a chance, Seduce Me 2 is actually out for mobile, and I plan on getting that. If you want to see a yandere, just go do Diana's route first. Just do Diana's route. Sero is so yandere. Yandere. But, Huh? Gah! How long has he been standing there? And who the heck is he? A guy in my bedroom? There's no way. Sorry. I think I was saying my thoughts out loud. What was I apologizing to a stranger who had only said 2 words since I woke up? Wait, he looked eerily familiar. Then it all came back to me. Incubus. He's an incubus. He and his brothers came here for refuge, and the 2 of them kissed me, and then I fainted. And that's how things came to this. He was leaned against the far wall, looked at me. My heart began to race as I thought of the endless list of possibilities this situation brought me. I hated the thought of being under an incubus's power, especially in a bedroom. Let's be calm. I took a deep breath. I was sure if any of them wanted to take advantage of me, they would have already. Yeah, I'm awake now.
That's good.
I saw a small form of a smile on his face, which made me blush a bit. Why, though? What things still concern me, though?
I'm not going to use my powers on you.
Huh? How?
I can read minds. It's an ability I was born with. Each of us has a different ability, outside of our usual mind-altering powers.
I see. How long have I been asleep?
For a few hours. It's already gotten quite dark outside.
Well, where are the others?
My brothers are downstairs, cleaning up the blood from the lobby floor. And making you dinner as an apology.
I don't know if I turn the... It's off.
My brothers are downstairs.
Okay, here we go.
Cleaning up the blood from the lobby floor.
Oh, okay. That is unexpectedly sweet. Hold on. Plugging in my phone. Needs to be charged. There you go. Am I the listener who makes video games for as a part of their lives? You're not the only one.
Oh, it's the least we can do after invading your home and two of us using our powers on you.
Thank you for reciting everything, Damien. You've got a point. Right, I had forgotten all about that. It still irked me that they had practically taken advantage of me at that point. Even if they were demons, it was pretty rude to demonstrate their powers by kissing me. I was not some toy they could use. All of this seemed unreal. It was like something out of those romantic novels Naomi read. I wished I could have just went back to sleep and forgotten all about this. Maybe I should have called the police on them. Then I never would have landed in this situation. You're wrong, Mika-chan.
Do you feel well enough to get out of bed?
God, what kind of games do you have? I like how you guys are just mingling with each other. It's really nice to know. Yeah, I think so. Whoa!
Trust me, I won't let you go.
Michaela, you want to look at the screen now? I'm just gonna wait for her reaction, just to see this. I'm not so sure about this.
I promise.
Okay, I trust you.
Good.
I was speechless. He was carrying me as if I weighed nothing. He was so strong.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
I decided to close my mouth for the time being. I didn't want to weird him out or make things more awkward than they already were. Well, he didn't seem to mind carrying me or listening to me talk, so at least things weren't too strange. Damien seemed very quiet and calm about everything, especially with the situation we were in. However, there was a sort of longing in his eyes when he looked at me that wasn't lustful. It was more of an admiration. Once we reached the lobby, I decided that I felt well enough to walk on my own. As strong as he was, it was like he was carrying nothing. I didn't want to make him carry me everywhere. Yeah, that would be mortifying. Thanks for carrying me, but I think I can walk by myself now. Not saying that I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it, not in a weird way, of course. It's not like I get carried around all the time. What I'm trying to say is that it was really nice of you to do that. I started to fumble over my words again, real smooth.
It's no problem. I'll be heading to the dining room then.
I bark out, what's going on? Alright, see you. He gently lowered me to the ground before he walked off quietly, disappearing into the shadows of the dark lobby.
Oh, hi.
Cinnamon roll! You innocent child! I'm just watching the stream on my phone, just seeing this play out. Suddenly, a boy who looked around my age, or possibly younger, bounced over to me. He looked vaguely familiar. Oh, wait. Hey, Michaela, can you help me with Matthew's route? Because I only have Eric's up, and yeah. Ah, you're Matthew, right?
That's me. Are you feeling any better now? We were all worried when you suddenly passed out.
I'm fine.
Really? Your face is kind of red. Do you feel sick?
No, it's because we're blushing. No, I'm fine. I'm sure of it. I must have been blushing when Damien was carrying me downstairs. How embarrassing.
Well, if you say so. I hope Sam and Eric didn't make you upset.
You're thinking wrong about Sam. Of course he made me upset. What else do you think? Michaela, if you remember Matthew's route, send me tips on what to do next. I will wait for you to reply. Because I only remember Eric's. Because I only have it written down. It's okay. After all, I did hit Sam after what he did. As for Eric, I just wanted you guys to prove to me what you were saying. I suppose incubi are real then. I wonder how exactly I got myself into this mess. First my grandfather, then a fight with my father, blowing up at Lisette's, and now this. I certainly had a knack for getting myself into sticky situations. The boys say what?
Oh, I have an idea.
Thanks, Michaela. He shoved his hands into a pocket with a cheery grin on his face.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Is he trying to do a magic trick?
Ta-da!
Simon! Oh my god, he's so adorable! What is that exactly? He smiled as if to wave it off, but when he opened his eyes and saw what he was holding, his face froze in shock.
Wait a second. What did I just make? This is...
What he produced from his pocket was a creepy-looking doll.
Ah, what is that?
I'm not sure. Oh my god! That's just so normal. Oh my god, yes. That's like a mini yandere-chan. I'm just waiting for you guys. I'm just looking at the... I'll be right back. Just admire Simon right now. Coming! Okay, I'm back. No, with it, my mom called me, and our little puppy, Kylo, is snuggling with Doppler, and he's asleep, and they're both asleep, and it's just so cute. His face paled considerably as he dropped it onto the floor, scooting away frantically.
Get it away from me!
His face!
Like a demon or something.
His face! Simon-chan, I agree. But isn't he a demon?
That's not what I wanted to make. I just wanted to surprise you with a stuffed animal or just something to cheer you up. That looks like it came straight out of a horror movie.
It's so cute, though, Matthew. He slumped his shoulders and looked down at his feet. Aw, it's okay. You don't have to look so dejected. I mean, it's certainly unique. I think I'll keep it.
It looks so creepy.
It's the thought that counts, right? You wanted to cheer me up, after all. I picked up the doll and took a closer look. Sure, it seemed pretty weird at first, but it could be cuter from a certain angle. I gave him a small smile. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's good to see you smiling, even though the thing I made still kind of creeps me out. Anyway, you should come with me to the dining room. We're almost finished with the food, and, well, I don't mean to brag, but we're pretty decent chefs.
Sounds great. Lead the way. Something smells good. My stomach rumbled in agreement. I was starving.
Oh, the girl's awake.
Hi, Alejandro. Excuse you, I have a name, you know.
Should we really care?
Yes! It's the first thing to being gentleman, Sam. Send that to Dad.
Sam, I will roast that tongue for dinner if it doesn't stop flapping in that idiotic mouth of yours.
I agree, James. That's me, too.
Whatever.
I apologize for his attitude.
I accept your apologies. Oh, no, it's fine.
Good. I hope you'll enjoy the meal we prepared for you.
Meal? For a second, my mind didn't understand what James meant. Maybe it was the shock from the dog getting into my head and distracting me. Ah, that's right. Damien and Matthew mentioned that they were making dinner as an apology.
You want to help me put him to bed?
Yeah, I will in a second. Oh, wait, you didn't have to. Hold on, BRB. Michaela, put in the thing for when, hold on. You'll see what I mean.
That was under my legs. That's my leg.
I guess I better grab my stuff for the shots.
Yes.
So she can go after Matthew. We'll have to wait and see about that, but hold on. I gotta do something before we continue. So, yeah.
We insist. Besides, it's quite impossible to undo our cooking, even if you command us to.
I just have to do some and stuff. So I'm going to turn off the mic so you guys can't hear right now. Okay, I is back. Alright, well, thank you. Matthew put down the last of the plates on the table and bowed a bit exaggeratedly to me, gesturing to the table with a sweeping motion.
Ah, there we go. Dinner's all served.
The table was filled with food from an electric section of cuisines. One portion of the table was filled with elegantly plated Asian food, and another portion some yummy-looking desserts. And there were yet more and more plates that I could have possibly imagined. Wow, that's a lot of food. It looks amazing.
We hope you enjoy it, my sweet.
Eric, shut up. What? Sweet? Me?
That's enough, Eric.
You're no fun, James.
I don't need to be fun, Eric. Miss, please won't.
I didn't know what came over me, whether it was his manners or his powers. Shit. James seemed very kind and intelligent. Aside from that, there was something that set him apart from his brothers. Not to mention, he didn't really seem to hold much appreciation for them.
Miss, I have to ask, why do you live alone?
Oh, well, it's kind of a long story. Thank you, Michaela, for subscribing.
I'm all ears if you wish to tell.
Sure. To put it briefly, I just moved in today.
That explains the luggage you brought in when you came through the front doors. By the way, we put your belongings in the room you were sleeping in. That seems to be the master bedroom, I believe.
Thanks. This house is really big. I don't think I've even explored the entire of the estate when I was a child.
You lived here before?
No. Truth be told, was my grandfather's house. I used to visit him all the time when I was younger.
May I ask why you now live in your grandfather's house?
He just passed away. He actually passed away yesterday. It was bequeathed to me in his will, and I was sent here to live whether I liked it or not.
My condolences. It seems like you don't like the idea of living here.
It's not that I don't like living like this house or don't have fond memories of being here. It's just the implication that come with staying at the estate. It's sort of complicated to explain.
How do you feel about it?
I certainly wasn't expecting that question, but I see a typo there. There's 2 I's for it. But it was a nice surprise. It was different from what I had heard the entire day at school. I appreciated the fact that he was willing to listen. I feel angry, sad, scared, and confused. It's hard picking out the different emotions that I am feeling right now. I wish I was stronger.
You don't have to be strong.
Bradley. What do you mean?
I understand that you're going through a difficult time, so it's okay to feel those emotions. You don't have to be strong at all.
Thank you.
Are you alright? There seems to be a small bruise on your cheek.
He noticed it. Oh, I'm fine. He stopped and leaned in closer, a bit too close for comfort, inspecting my face. He was really quite tall, having to bend over quite a bit just to look at my face. It was hard to look at him, especially when he was so close. After a few seconds, he straightened up and began walking again.
Well, if you're having any problems, I'm always here to listen.
That's really kind of you to offer.
My pleasure. Here's your seat.
Let me get your chair for you, lovely lady.
Hi, Chris. Eric was very charming, and his smile pulled at my heart. The way he kept flirting with me definitely designated him as the playboy of the brothers. Yet I noticed that there was a little distance in his eyes.
By the way, I apologize for my behavior earlier. Stealing your second kiss like that.
At least Eric has manners, unlike Sam. What? Huh? What is it, Laser Blazer? Is everything okay? Oh yeah, I did when I didn't believe that they were incubi. It's fine, I guess. I mean, you didn't just get up and grab a kiss for no reason.
I'm not as forward, unlike Sam.
Suddenly, Eric leaned in and whispered in my ear.
I won't lie, though. I enjoyed kissing you and feeling you melt in my arms.
This dude. Okay, now here's the beginning of the other routes, except Eric's. This upcoming thing will help you choose to be cool or, let's see, slap his ass. Do you know who is the oldest and the youngest? If you don't, I'll tell you. The oldest is James and the youngest is Damien. Am I right, Michaela? I was torn between smacking him and trying to play cool. Michaela, should we go the Matthew route or the Eric route? Who should we go? Should we do Matthew or... should we go Matthews? I'm hearing a yes. Yay, I knew it. Michaela, should we go Matthew or Eric? Yeah, he's got a secret side, so let's smack his ass.
That's going to sting.
You deserved it, still. Sorry, I panicked.
No, I was expecting that.
You all are agreeing. I drew my attention back to the dishes. I was both intrigued and slightly scared of the amount of food they made. Seeing my expression, Eric leaned forward and proudly smiled, gesturing to all the dishes with a dramatic sweep of his arm.
I made almost all of the dishes myself.
And here's my favorite part of Matthew. Humorously enough, Matthew looked at him with a shocked expression, as if he was betrayed. His face changed instantly to that of a frown.
And I'm the queen of the Nile.
That's my favorite things. Matthew, he is a sweetheart. Matthew's just an innocent cinnamon roll, in my opinion.
What's that supposed to mean?
Me, you, and James did the work together, dummy.
That's bad grammar, Matthew.
It's you, James, and I, Matthew.
Thank you, James!
Little boys will always make mistakes.
He's not a little boy, Eric, so shut your dirty mouth up. It's just the way it is. Matthew looked at James in disbelief, probably for siding with Eric, and annoyedly swiveled back towards Eric.
I'm not a little boy. I'm barely a year younger than you.
So that tells the difference.
Well, you certainly don't act like it.
Eric, shut up for once. I really couldn't help but laugh. Matthew seemed very much like a kid. He was adorable. However, I couldn't help but feel like in a way he was much more mature than the others, especially Eric.
Huh? Is something funny?
No, it's nothing at all. Thank you for the meal, all of you.
Oh. You're welcome, miss.
Have you seen Seduce Me 2 of Matthew? Oh my god, yes. That's what made me love Matthew. He is such a pure, innocent cinnamon roll.
Such a well-mannered young lady. Beautiful inside and out.
How do you... Okay, that's what I don't get. Beautiful inside and out. Okay, now I know. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Eric, knock it off.
Same. In agreement with Matthew, Sam cocked his head and glared at Eric.
Seriously, you're getting really annoying with that suck-up act.
How does Matthew act in that? Oh my god, there's different routes. There's different endings with each different one. I'm just gonna stop talking now. Why is the chat acting like this? Why? It was obvious that Sam was the bad boy of the group. He had this big, tough guy act, and physically he was the strongest of the 5. But was there more to him than that?
I'm just trying to be a gentleman. The young girl has already gone through so much. She deserves a good treatment.
Yeah, I agree, Michaela.
There's a difference between being a gentleman and being an obnoxious flirt.
Thank you, James.
Schooled even by James. You're gonna need some cold water for that burn.
Matthew, you poor innocent child. That is not how you use that sentence.
By the way, I don't believe we caught your name even though you know each of us.
Ah, I'm Mika.
It's a pleasure to finally know your name.
Yeah, that's a nice name.
They were so comfortable around me, despite that awkward situation we landed in. It was as if it was totally natural for them to be around humans. I guess that was just how incubi worked. But I was still curious about one thing. Excuse me. All at once, they turned to me. I didn't know why, but having all of them look at me made me feel kind of important, like a queen or something.
What is it, miss?
I mean, thank you for the food, but I still need to know why you all came here. I feel like I don't quite understand. Understand? Yeah, like being told that a bunch of incubi randomly appear in your house was perfectly understandable.
Oh, how do we explain? We were attacked. We came here to heal. What's so difficult to...
Now you're just being rude, Sam.
I'm just saying, how is that difficult to understand?
No, I mean, what specifically happened?
Well, you see, we've been traveling around for quite some time now. Just recently we came into town, but we were jumped by this band of misfits.
What, from the land of misfit toys?
So, in order to escape and heal, we came here for shelter. Again, we apologize for the mess we made.
It's fine, I guess. So, you're all better now, right?
Yup, all thanks to you.
Huh? Me?
You see, beautiful, we feed on sexual energy. But we don't just get it from kissing lovely ladies such as yourself. We can simply touch someone's hand to obtain sexual energy. Everyone carries sexual energy, you know.
How many times he says sexual energy in that flippin' sentence is just... yeah. I was shocked. It wasn't just kissing that gave them power. It was anything physical. No wonder I was out for a while. These incubi intrigued me, but I could almost hear a warning siren going off in my head.
Is there anything else you wish to know?
Well, what do you all plan to do now?
Yeah, what are we gonna do now, James?
That is a very good question. We just got here and surely we'll be hunted again if we leave.
We can take him easily.
Not without more training, Sam. The result of that was clearly evident in our last encounter with them.
Malix. Yes, I agree. Malix is from a band of misfit toys. And at that moment, I didn't know what came over me, but I felt sorry for them. They couldn't survive out there. If they didn't know breaking and entering was against the law, they probably didn't know what else was illegal. They would cause chaos all over town. On the flip side, they could have been taken in for questioning and being poked and prodded like frogs in a lab research. That was even worse. But most of all, they reminded me of back then. I was staying alone. The entire classroom was filled with laughter and chatter, but I stood in the midst of it, quiet and alone. It was strange seeing the whole world pass in front of me with such vibrancy, all while I stood there. On the plus side, I wasn't engaged in any drama that might have arisen, like scribbling on someone's paper for revenge or kicking someone too hard. It was kind of nice just standing back and watching things pass by and life go on. I had long convinced myself that I was preferred being alone. I often encouraged myself saying, yeah, I want to be alone. There's no one I like better than me, so I ought to spend more time with myself. But there was a certain bitterness that made me feel sad. There was a difference between being alone and feeling alone, feeling lonely. I just didn't realize it at that moment. And even after that moment, my father, my mother, there was no one to turn to. I was so lonely. That's when I decided it was on it right then. I was going to go see my grandfather. I didn't care if my father wouldn't take me. I was going to walk my own way over there and see what he had to say about it. I had never seen him before that. What better time to see him then? If no one else was going to help me with that, what was I feeling? I might as well have turned to him. So I decided to walk there. I had no idea how to get there, and I was only armed with only a scrap of paper with the address scribbled on it. As a 7-year-old, I obviously had great ideas. Soon I knew I was lost. I just stood there on the sidewalk, back pressed against the wall, and eyes watched the strangers pass by. And like always, people continued on passing by, and life continued to go on. I was more depressed than ever. I had ended up in the situation I was originally in. Nothing had changed. I thought that I was silly for even thinking that I could change things with my own hands. That was until a voice brought me back to reality.
Hon, is that you?
Our grandfather just found us. How long have you been streaming? I don't know. It'll say, hold on. An hour and 57 minutes. I looked up and saw an unfamiliar face, but it was obvious that whoever was talking to me knew who I was. And from that moment, things began to change. Life began moving its rusty joints, and I realized that things were moving along. Suddenly, I had become part of a crowd that moved like a blur past me. I was no longer someone who stood still and watched life pass by. Life had changed. I had changed. Because that person who found me that day was my grandfather. I had the opportunity to help them. The question was, would I? I wanted to, but I wasn't sure if that was the best idea. After all, 5 demons in a house wasn't exactly the living arrangement that I had imagined moving into. There was the matter of making sure no one had found out about their powers. Thinking about them as lab rats made my stomach queasy. And even if they passed for humans, how would I explain having guys living in my house? Imagine if my friends came over. They would practically think I was part of a harem or something. Oh God, imagine if my parents came over. I think my mom would faint. Who knows what my dad would do? I think he would have them arrested on the spot. This was hard. Maybe I should have written out a pros and cons list before actually having to make that decision.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
Our grandfather. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. Have fun, Laser Blazer. Thanks for joining. It was strange that I happened to remember what my grandfather said to me when I was little, but it kind of did make sense. They weren't in the same exact situation that I was in before, but I did want to help them out. I think it was easy to quit. Consent also make me a bit happy to give them help, as weird as it sounded. Clenching my hands to into fists, I strengthened my resolve to speak up. Well, you could...
What was that, lovely lady?
That is,
Spit it out already.
You could stay with me here if you'd like. I'm gonna turn this down because I know there's a ringtone gonna be coming soon. As soon as I finished, the room became still. Not sure what went through their heads. The silence in the air cut like a knife until I spoke up once more. It looks like you need a place to stay, and, well, I just moved into this giant house, so it makes sense to ask. It was still quiet in the room. I decided to keep talking. If you would like to stay here, though, there are 2 things that I need all of you to follow.
Yes?
First of all, you can't use your powers or deliberately do something that might harm me or any guests that come over. Well, save for enemies. But you get the gist of it.
That sounds reasonable.
Second, you have to help me with any errands around the house. This place is kind of big, so yeah.
That is a generous offer, miss. Are you sure that would be okay? We don't wish to burden you any more than we already have.
It's alright, really. I mean, I just started living here myself, so I would appreciate some help around the house.
A wonderful idea. We'll live here and train while helping you with the house. Servants for the lovely princess.
Sam just doesn't look happy at all.
What? Are you serious?
Shh, be quiet, Sam. I haven't slept in a bed for days.
They all seemed to like the idea, except for Sam. And hey, I didn't really hate the idea either, even if they were incubi. It would be interesting having 5 guys help me to care for the house, given they would follow the rules and that I had laid down.
Fine, but we're not staying here forever. Only until we can beat up that group of punks.
I think that is a reasonable time limit for our stay.
Yeah, I'll make it a little longer.
Yes, this is awesome.
Also beautiful, if you need a bedfellow.
Eric, shut up.
Eric, knock it off.
I was happy that they agreed. Maybe it was because I wasn't going to be lonely for a while, or because they all needed help. I would never be sure. I already got it. No, but I will now. Be right back, Michaela. Okay, so I'm gonna have to end this here, so I'm gonna save for tomorrow's stream. Make sure to hit that little bell for when I stream next, which would be tomorrow. I gotta go to bed. I have 4 minutes until 10 o'clock. That's my ending stream, but hope you enjoyed and have a good night, guys. See ya.